Jinn or genie and wish granting. Is this myth or reality? Women engaged in uninhabited dances amidst clouds of incense, to the rhythm of drums, partaking in the consumption of blood and alcohol, donning men's attire, brandishing swords in public threats against men, and engaging in boisterous, indecorous dialogues. This depicts the contemporary Egyptian czar ceremony conducted to summon a genie that grants wishes. Ecstatic dances like these, intended to invoke the benevolence of deities, have been a part of human tradition since antiquity. The European and American cultures, jinns are often seen as whimsical figures from Oriental fairy tales like Aladdin. The 2022 film 3000 Years of Wishes is a testament to their entertainment value, yet for people in the Middle East, jinns have been regarded since ancient times as sentient beings with the power to aid or harm humans. Rituals to summon or banish jinns have endured through the ages and remain practiced to this day. Now, the belief in the jinns predated the spread of Islam. These beings were revered similarly to gods, with the distinction that jinns were honored privately while gods received public worship. In areas beyond Hejaz, such as Palmyra and Baalbek in Lebanon, the terms jinn and ilad, deity, were frequently used interchangeably. Some jinn bear a resemblance to the aiding spirits found in the Siberian shamanism. Additionally, jinn are likened to werewolves, often adopting animal forms in a preference for serpentine shapes, and in their human guise they are described as part animal, not entirely human, identifiable by certain traits. This brings to mind the mythological tale of reptilians. According to Islamic doctrine, jinn were created from a smokeless, scorched fire and are imperceptible to the five basic human senses. They exist in the realm of parallel to humans, having appeared before them, and are equally capable of belief or disbelief in Allah. Jinns are thought to be beings that can assume human or animal shapes and inhabit various inanimate objects, including oddly shaped rocks, trees, ruins, and even everyday items like lamps and pots and even dolls. They are also believed to dwell in elements such as earth, fire, and air. Arabic literature identifies four primary classes of jinn: the ifrit, the guli, the marid, also known as the malik, and the sila. The ifrit is a fire genie, the strongest, most vicious of all classes. They inhabit desolate desert and abandoned places such as ruins and the ruins of temples. The ghoul is a genie of water, capable of taking the form of an attractive woman, who then kill and eat lowly travelers. They hunt along roads and in cemeteries where they feed on the dead. A malik is a jinn of the wind. They appear in the form of smoke or in the form of white beards with white clothes. People and fire comes out of their mouths and nostrils. Maliks are the smartest and most cunning of all jinn, so they are considered kings of jinn. Often they become prisoners of certain objects, for example, a ring or a lamp, as in the fairy tale about Aladdin. Old Hotabich or the genie from Aladdin's lamp are classic maliks. Their strength: the genie of the earth, the weakest of the genie, can be killed with a blow of a wooden stick as easily as a pillar of salt is destroyed. Beyond the four known classes, there exists the multitude of shaitans akin to minor demons. Take, for instance, Shaitan Zalnabar, who dwells in markets and retail places, engaging in the deception of customers. His craft involves cunning and dishonesty in trade, compelling sellers to defraud buyers and extol merchandise while concealing flaws. In Islam, jinn are not inherently evil. Their moral compass is guided by their faith in Allah, as they possess free will akin to humans. Jinn that are righteous are often regarded as Muslim jinn or jinn of Islam, whereas those who reject faith and succumb to the temptations of devils are labeled as kafir jinn or jinn kafir. The Katib al-Bullah, or Book of Wonders, a 14th-15th century Arabic manuscript compiled by Hassan Isfahani during Sultan Ahmad's rule, 1382-1410, in Baghdad, features depictions of 7 jinn kings. Each king is associated with a day of the week. The opening illustration represents the Red King of Jinn al-Ahmar with his entourage. Now, the jinn of the Persian Gulf, Gholam Hossein Saidi, authored a slender volume titled Possessed by the Winds. The author and professor, ethnographer, and professor from Iran noted that the book's actual title is Possessed by Spirit Winds, but the reference to spirits was omitted from the book's cover. According to scientific commentary on the work, the residents of Iran's southern coast along the Persian Gulf frequently engage with local spirits, as reported by Saidi. Al-Ehava, or possessed by the wind spirit, is a term used by the common people to describe someone seized by a wind spirit along the Persian Gulf shores. These spirits represent mysterious, potent magical forces that, as believed by locals, govern all humanity. Humans, in contrast to the spirit winds, are so trivial and powerless that they must appease the spirits, make offerings, and yield to their will. Spirit winds can be malevolent, and efforts are made to repel them. However, benevolent ones exist, and some individuals willingly submit to them. These spirits invariably require a human body as an offering, they say. They prey on those who are impoverished and weary in spirit, in regions where fear and anxiety prevail. And it's thought that those who are possessed by bear spirit winds, hence they are termed saddled. According to the local lore, spirit winds originate from faraway places, especially the distant coast of Black Africa. Locals believe that while Indian and Persian spirits are fearsome, they pale in comparison to the immense dark wind spirits from Africa's shores. For centuries, the indigenous people of Iran's southern coast have held beliefs in certain winds and endured their effects. To counterattack these winds, they perform various magical rituals. The essence of these local beliefs, as documented by Saidi from the account of local sources, are as follows. Spirit winds are entities that govern the entire world. If an individual who has been seized by one of these winds manages to break free from its grasp unscathed, they are inducted into the Ahia Hava, or the clan of those who are possessed by the spirit winds, yet have triumphed over them. The spirit winds are intangible, merely glamorous currents of air or slices of sentient atmosphere. A spirit like Zar is simply a unique breath of air, while a spirit like Noban is nothing more than distinct gust of sentient wind. When such a spirit enters a person's body, it strips away their health. Only local shamans, known as Baba or Mother, can heal those afflicted, he said. Therefore, spirit winds represent maladies that defy conventional medical treatment. The sole remedy lies in ancient rituals practiced for centuries by coastal dwellers and fishermen. And above all, spirit winds are drawn to the young. They possess greater physical strength to harbor spirits. However, despite their vigor and youthful energy, young people are more susceptible to spirits than both children and the elderly. All thinking winds believed to be contagious and can transfer from one person to another. If one individual deeply loves another, they can either impart their wind to them or absorb the other's wind. Can you imagine the work that all these shamans had to do? Before the game begins, the patient undergoes hypnosis by local sorcerers. Unaware of his state, he soon emits a voice from his throat that is distinctly not his own. It's believed to be the wind spirit. I mean, these are demonic entities possessing people, obviously. For example, consider the typical instance of banishing the malevolent spirit Zara from an individual. One evening, a young man named Muhammad suddenly experienced the sensation of an entity entering his body, seeking to decapitate him. In terror, he let out a piercing scream. By the next day, this sensation had worsened. He fled his home, ascending the roof of an ancient fortress's ruins, and there began to wail and bellow. It became necessary to bind him securely with ropes both hand and feet. There was no doubt among anyone that the young man was under possession of the wind spirit. Can you imagine how many spirits and demonic entities there are in these areas? The sorcerer found, I'm going to tell you a real story having to do with haunted houses in England. One person that I know, they bought this house to turn into their home. They bought it at 10% of market value, and it was haunted. It turned out to be haunted. And I asked my father confessor, I said, my goddaughter whose family bought this house, they have the house is haunted. Why is that? He said it's because people at that time at one point used to do magic in there. That's why the demonic spirits are there. So obviously all these centuries passed with magic being conjured up, obviously. All these demonic forces are in these areas. So Jinns out of Egypt and Sudan, the name Jinn from previous story, intriguingly shares a name with the Zar ceremony in Egypt and Sudan, which involves evoking jinns. In ancient Aramaic, Zar translates to alien. Although Zar, the trance-induced ritual from North Africa and Middle East, is prohibited by Orthodox Islam, it remains deeply embedded in these cultures. So even though their religion tells them not to do that, they do engage in this. Obviously, that's why they get possessed, demon-possessed. That's not to be done. Anyway, this is on Soul Ask. It still goes on today, as we see. You can read the remainder of the article if you wish. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.